All right, so welcome back everyone. Thank you again for joining our free online lesson. My name is Nabi Fikri bin Shaizan and I am an application engineer from Market System. Right, so for today's topic that I would like to share with you is the Fusion 360's tools, which is the Moldflow, right? So this is not actually the real Moldflow like the Moldflow Advisor or the Moldflow Insight, but what we are going to take a look on the injection molding simulation inside of Fusion 360. So basically this is included inside of Fusion 360's standalone on the simulation. Now, previously on the Inventor tooling, so we also have the Moldflow inside of Inventor tooling, but it's already been removed, and now it is added inside of Fusion 360. So we're going to take a look on this simulation software, which is the injection molding. Right. So this is basically the agenda for today. So we're going to use this model to set up the injection molding simulations. So there are a few things that we are going to take a look here. The first thing is in how we're going to set up the simulations, and we're going to run and review the result. So once the result has been reviewed, we're going to clone the model itself, and we're going to make some changes. We're going to modify so we can compare these two on the result itself. Now let me just change into the Fusion 360's. Right, so basically this is the product. This is the model that I will show you. Now, to go into the simulations, so what you got to do is that by default, I believe you should have the design over here. So simply go to the simulation over here, right here. So once you have clicked on this simulation, now supposedly it will ask you to identify which type of simulation that you would like to run. So let me just delete this simulation. So let me just delete this one. All right. So once you have selected these simulations, so on the default, it will ask you to select which is the simulation that you want to run. And we're going to run the injection molding simulation to simulate the Moldflow of this model right here. So let me just start out by create studies. And once you have created the studies over here, so let me just minimize first. So once you have created the studies over here, most likely it will automatically assign all of the requirements for you. So to check back the things that you needed to assign, so you can go to solve and go to the setup summary over here. Now, this is the thing that we needed to apply to our models. So once you have created, so most likely it will assign automatically. You can change it from here. So first thing is target bodies. So if you have more than one component, so it will ask you which is the bodies that you would like to target to. So if I click over here, I can select which is the body. So for this case, I only have one part file, which is the H trimmer over here. Right, so that is the target body. So the second material that I would like to include over here is generic PP, so which is it's already being assigned. So if you would like to assign another material, so you can create study material over here, or you can also click study material over here, and you can pick which type of materials that we would like to include over here. So we have several other materials that you can choose. So for if you want to select one of the materials, so select and click on the select button over here, and it will replace this generic PP over here, which is the name of these materials. Now, once you have selected, so I'm going to stay as generic PP materials. So once you have selected, if you would like to see the description of this material, so you can simply click at the bottom, at the top over here, which is the name of the material that you have choose. And what it shows here is that some of the description that you can find from here. So give me the name of these families, the data source, and so on and so on. The next thing that you might want to do is take a look on the recommended processing. So it's tell us what is the recommended for most surface temperatures, the melting temperatures, which you can set up on your simulation, right? So you can also take a look on other settings such as mechanical properties, shrinkage, and so on and so forth. So for this case, I will click cancel, and we can take a look on some of the things that we can input over here that we need to input. So we have here is the injection times, melting temperature, and also mold surface temperature, which you can click on the process setting over here. Basically, it's going to include these three. Now, if you take a look over here, we have the melt temperatures, mold surface temperatures also has already been applied. On default, if you like to change, you can change from here. Again, if you needed to review the recommended settings, again, you can go into the materials and click again on the material that have you selected over here on the top, and it will give you the description. So I can go into the recommended processing, and I can find over here the mold temperature is 50, the melt temperature is 220. It's already been applied over here, so I don't need to change. So this is actually quite good. The next thing is two things more, which is the injection location, which will be the gate location where your mold will be flown inside of this core and cavity. Now, again, you can find the button over here, which is the injection locations. So it will give you this injection location that you can select. So on default, it will give you the injection location. So if you try to zoom in, so we already have one over here, has been selected over here. So if you need to add more gate location, so you can click and you can add more injections. Let's say I want to have another one right over here. Oops. I would like to have one more right over here. Okay, I have basically two injection locations. But for this case, I only need one, so I'm going to delete this one. And if you wanted to move this one, if you needed to edit the location, so you can just click on this triangle here, on this pin. So right click and select edit injection location, and it will give you this button which you can click and move. So I'm going to move it, this one on the front. So I'm just going to move it right here. And okay, and then we have our gate location applied right over here. So the next thing is the aesthetic phase. So what aesthetic phase is just tell you which is the location that you would like to keep the face remain beautiful. Right? So basically, you want the surface to have a very good surface. So you can click aesthetic faces and select, and it will highlight the faces that you would like to, most likely, it will recommend you to ignore this face to put the gate location. So once I press OK, and it will highlight into green colors. So basically, it will tell you to avoid this green color to put your gate location. But for this case, I already put over here, and I wanted to keep it that way so we can see the result later on once we put over here. So it is also giving me these indications, some warning signs, which tells you that this is not actually a very good place, but I'm just going to keep it that way. Again, if you wanted to check back, so you can go to Precheck, and it will tell you the warning over here. So click here to select the aesthetic face and edit the injection location. Basically, it tells you try to avoid these faces over here, which we will do later on once we solve this for this one first. Now we already applying that. One last thing that you might want to change is that if I go to my setup summary, you can find my units on Celsius, 220 Celsius. If you want to have different units, you can go back to our browser over here, and on the top we have units, which is set on custom. So you can click edit over here. You can select whether you want the units to be on matrix or US, or you can also set on custom. So setting on custom, which I can set manually, which is the length, units, which is what pressure that is being used over here, what type of powers, units. I can just select over here. So I'm just going to remain this one as a unit, as a customs. And I believe that is all that we need. Target body has already been applied, materials, boundary, process settings. Lastly, in order to solve, you can click on the solve button over here, and it will ask you to solve. And of course, it will also give you the status, which is the same status that we have earlier. So if you're ready to solve, you can click on solve studies. One thing that you may, that you may want to notice is that it is solved in cloud, so I cannot actually solve locally. Basically, you send this information into the cloud, so you can let the Autodesk computer itself solve it for you. So you can turn off your Fusion if you needed to, because it will run on the clouds. So you should have no problem if you needed to do some other works. So when I click solve, so basically it's going to solve. Again, the solving will likely take some time. So I'm going to close this one, and I'm going to show you the ones that are already being created. So this one is going to take some time. So let me just put this one, and I'm going to show you. Let me see. So just give it a second. Again, I hope you can see my screen very well. Oops. Okay. Let me just open the one that has already been solved. Right, so we have over here, basically if I check back on the solve, so if it's still running, it will tell you this one is still running, but this one is already being solved, so it tells me as solved. And to see the result, you can just click on the simulation result over here, or can also double click on the result over here. So we just click on the result, and it will show you what will happen if you put your gate location on that area and that settings for the temperatures. And this is basically the result that we will get for this model. Right, so just give it some time for it to load. Now, once we have seen this result, we're going to make some changes. So we're going to edit, and we also can make some comparison. Okay, so we have this result shown, but that's not yet fully completed. All right, so now it's fully completed. So on top of this, we have guided result. So if you go to guided result, it will show you the result of these simulations. So it gives me these three indications. So one is unlikely to fill, so most likely we're going to have a difficulty for the Moldflow to flow inside of this red area. So about 39% unlikely to fill. So 22%, which is this orange color, so only this will be difficult to fill but still fill. And we have the green color, which is the green area will most likely will be filled. Now, if you look at the bottom over here, we also have the next step, which would advise you what you need to do next on. So what things that you can do over here to solve this. Maybe you can decrease the injection times or move the injection location. Basically, we're going to change the injection location, right? Or increase the thickness of the model, because if you look over here, some of the ribs are very, very thin. So some of the things that we can take a look later on. So that is the field result. So you can go to the visual result, which will give you other indications, some of the defect that will be happen over here. So if you look over here, we have some of the defects such as sink defect, so which is the red area over here. Right. So we also have the well line that most likely will be shown on your model once the mold has been flown inside. So I can turn it on and off. So if I don't want to see the well result or the sink location, so I can turn this one on. I can also toggle the tolerance. So basically, if I have a lower tolerance that I needed to input to my model, so I can just click and drag. Let's say I'm going to set on 0.01. So basically, this is the sink mark that will happen on the 0.01 tolerance. So you can just scroll this one if you need to. And we also have warpage. If you wanted to see some of the warpage location that which most likely very difficult to be filled, and it will be have a warpage shown over here. So it will be strange. So that is the guided result. So if you want to see the overall result, so you can just click on the result and it will show you what will happen instead. So if you want to have a result with suggestion to fix, so you can go to the guided result. So I'm going to click on the result, and here we have the fill animation, which you can see based on the time that it will be filled. So the blue color, basically the lowest one, which is it will take around 0 seconds for it to fill, and the red one, which is the maximum of 1.77 seconds, so roughly around 2 seconds, this overall will be filled. You can see over here. So the last one that will be filled is basically on the red colors over here. So you can also animate the fill. So I can just play and you will see how the fill location, the Moldflow will be flown inside of this cavity over here. Again, we can also toggle the result over here. So if you wanted to see on, for example, on 1 second, on which area has been filled, so let me just toggle into 1 second. So basically, approximately 1 second, only this area has been filled, and around 1.7 second, only then the rest will be filled inside of it. All right, so this is the fill animation. We can see on the fill confident. So basically, confidently, this area will be filled very good, and the rest of the area might have some defect because the fill are very hard to push the mold. So we have quality prediction as well. You can see over here. If you wanted to see the injection pressure, it will tell you which is the lowest and highest pressure. Of course, this is the location that the mold starting to insert. So this will be the highest pressure, and the rest will be the lowest pressure. And some other things that you can find from here. Maybe I want to see some edge traps. So I can look and see. So I have some edge traps that has been created over here, some weld line. So you can see some of the result that has been shown from me. So we have guided result, the overall result, and we also have the molding process, which also give you some description of the result that we have over here. So basically that is the result. So once we have the result, I would like to make some changes so that my flow will be much better. So I'm going to finish my result. And some of the things that we can do over here, so let's say I'm going to change my gate location. So what I can do over here is that if I still want my study one, what I can do is that I can clone my study. So I have study one, which is the default studies, and I have studies 2. So I'm going to rename this one as a study 2. And then this one will be gate change, the gate location or the injection location. So I'm going to change the injection location. So I'm going to click over here and find, right. And what I'm going to do is this, I'm going to edit this one, and I'm going to move right over here. Right, so basically right on the face over here. Over here, right. So basically that is my injection location, and basically that's just change the gate location. But if you wanted to change the model itself, so you can also create a clone or duplicate this model by right click on the simulation and clicking on the clone model. But we cannot do here yet. To do that, we can click simplify. So what simplify does, it's allow you to modify your model. So I'm going to click my simplify. So it's going to give me on this simplify solid surface. And what I can do now is that I can right click on my simulation model, and I'm going to clone this model. So I'm going to clone this one, and let's say I'm just going to have the gate location to be copied as well. So I have simulation model 2, basically 2. So let me just rename this one as 2. So I have simulation model 1, which we'll take a look later on. Right, so 2, and then what we're going to do here is that we're going to make some changes on the faces over here, so we can see these places are very, very thin. So I might want to make it a little bit thicker. So I'm going to modify, and I'm going to press and pull just to make it a little bit thicker. This location and also this location, and I'm going to add another 0.5 millimeter. So it's more thicker than before. So if I click on simplify, finish simplify, and now I have simulation for model 1. On the model 1, we have study 1, the default one, and the study 2 for the gate changes or the injection location changes. And then we have study simulation model 2, which gate change, and we also add some thickness on our material over here. So once I have done that, I can go ahead and click on the solve, and I'm going to solve both of these. So we have new studies, which is gate change, and the other one is gate change, and as well as thickness has been changed. Right, so on the first one, which is the default, so nothing has been changed over here, should be remain like that. So let me just close this one. Okay, so I should click solve studies, but I'm going to close because it's going to take some time. And let me open one that has been created. So I have this final result over here. So let me just check back if the solving has been done. Right, so I believe, okay, so I have one that other result that not yet done, so I'm going to click other model. So let me see if I have let me just click this one. So hopefully we have some of these has been done, the solving. So we can take a look and compare each of these. Right, so 3 of the studies has been done. So I'm going to close, and I'm going to check back. So we have simulation model 1, study 1, study 2, and we also have simulation model 2, study 2. So again, you can click on the simulation result. So again, it might take some times. Right. So if you notice, my gate location is put right over here. So this is actually a different molding result because the other one have not yet finished. So let me just see if I have the one that I have input the pin right over here. So if I go to study 1, so I believe on study 1 I have input the pin right over there, right? Right. So this is basically the final result that we want. So let just it loads a while, and we will see. Right. So right here we can see that let me see just on the field, you can see the percentage has been dropped into 0.6, so very low, unlikely to fill. However, I haven't managed to create a thin over here. So if I create the thin over here, so most likely this one will be reduced much further. But overall result, so unlikely to fill only on this particular area, which I have not yet saved. But the rest, you can see after we change the gate location or the injection locations, the overall are very good. Now, to compare with the other results, I'm going to click on the compare over here, select compare, and then right over here. So if I click over here, it will compare left and right. So you can go up to 4 view and some other view that you can change from here. So I'm going to click on the 2 vertical view. I'm going to hide this one. And to make it much better to see, I'm going to change my display settings and let it be on shaded only as well. Okay, so we have one study 1 injection molding simulation, field confidence. Study 1 on the right side have the same simulation as well. So I'm going to change this one as study 2. If my gate location on some other area. So let's just take, make it load. So I can find some of this result over here. The study, so you can see I have model 1 and model 2. So I believe model 2 is where I have created the thickens. However, I haven't changed the gate location, so the result might not be as good as the study number 1. Okay, injection gate move. Right, so again, it's going to take some time to load. The result has been finished, but to load the result, it might take some time. But from here, we can see on this area, I have put the gate location on this particular area. On the right side, I have included on the middle area over here. So only then we will able to see the difference between these two. So let me see the field animation, and I'm going to change the visual style to shaded only. So both we have shaded. Field confidence. All right, it should be able to load. However, since we have few studies that has been created over here, so it might take some times over here. But I believe you have seen the overall pictures of how to use the Fusion 360 injection molding simulations. All right, so right now it has been loaded. If you take a look over here, the injection location created over here. So basically, we have some area very hard to fill compared to this one, which I include the gate location at the middle. So that is some things that you can change from here. So if I click on the let's say the field animation, and then you will see the differences. So it will take 1.75 on the left, but on the right is only 1.74. You can take and animate it if you want. And some other area you can find from here as well. So basically that is the thing that I would like to share with you. So thank you again for joining our free online lessons. So if you need it, if you have any question, you can just type me on the chat. So I will try to stay a while and try to answer questions. And in the meantime, let me just share you our software. So you can ask me the question on the chat. But in the meantime, before I see your questions, so I like to show you about the product design and manufacturing collections. So the product design and manufacturing collection is actually a bundle of collection of Autodesk products. So if you see over here, we have AutoCAD, so we have Inventors, we have Fusion 360s. So if you needed to buy AutoCAD individually, if you needed to buy Inventor individually, so most likely your price will be much higher. For example, the AutoCAD costs around 5,000 per year, and the Inventors around 6,000 to 7,000 per year. So if you combine both of these, so take about 11,000 per year. But if you buy the product design and manufacturing collections, the cost for this is likely around 700 to 800 per year. And once you buy the product design, you will have all of these products such as the AutoCAD and 7 tool sets, the architectural, AutoCAD mechanicals, and so on. And then you will have the Inventor Professional, which you can do mold design or the tooling design inside of Inventor. And then once you have created your tooling design, and then you want to send to Fusion, right? So we have this Fusion also included inside the product design and manufacturing collection, which you can do the injection molding simulation, basically the Moldflow simulation inside of Fusion 360. So that is basically the product design and manufacturing collection. So it's very good to get the product design and manufacturing collection instead of individual product. So we have one question over here. For this sample, how many hours needed to complete the analysis? All right, so for my experience, it takes around 30 to 1 hour for this to complete the simulations. So regardless what type of PC that you have, because it does not actually solve inside of your PC. Once you click solve, it will send the information into the Autodesk PC cloud, and they will solve there. Once the solving has been done, it will send back to your computer. So most likely it will take around 30 to 1 hour, maybe more, depend on the complexity of your model. So for this complex, for my experience, around 30 to 1 hour, something like that. So I believe that is your question, right? So I believe no more questions so far, and so we can stop from here. So thank you everyone for joining. So thank you for the questions. So I hope I can see you guys again on our free online lessons. Thank you again. Selamat Hari Raya and selamat Labor Day. Right, so happy Labor Day. Thank you again. Have a nice day and bye-bye.